Yo, what's up folks? Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we'll go over my OTS Championship performance this past Saturday. We obviously ended up picking Blue Eyes. I asked in the community post beforehand what people thought I should play. The options I think were White Forest, Blue Eyes, Fire King Fiendsmith, which is a fun deck that I played the week of the OTS Championship at my locals, and then also I think it was branded. And yeah, ended up picking Blue Eyes after some testing, especially against Yummy. And after discussing it with my friends, I think Blue Eyes has a quite decent matchup going into Yummy, especially going first. And we'll discuss that in a minute. So the OTS Championship was 6 rounds of Swiss, was 43 people attending. That is like triple the size of my regular locals attendance, so that's quite nice. And it was some good fun. It was the first biggie event for me in a while. As I said, my regular locals is like 14, 15 people on a good day. And I missed out on Nets this year, which was quite sad. I only started going to locals last May, so May of 2024, and attended Nets that year. That was super fun. And this was a little bit bigger again compared to locals, so that was quite good. 6 rounds of Swiss, so that was some good fun. A lot of matches. A good amount, I think. You can concentrate through 6 rounds pretty well. And yeah, we ended up going 5-1. Only lost in the third round to the guy who actually ended up winning the whole event, so that helped with our tiebreaker, and we ended up placing third. We just missed out on the EUWCQ qualifier slots, which was a little bit sad, but I was just overall happy with my performance and with the day. I'll post my matchups in the pinned comment down below so you can see what I played against and if there was something extraordinary. Anyways, let's get right into the deck profile and let's get started. I've just recently uploaded a Blue Eyes deck profile from my logs. I think 2 weeks ago I went 4-0, and to be honest, not much has changed since then. We're still on 42 cards and we're still playing 2 Blue Eyes, 3 Sage, Triple Maiden, Triple Wishes, the Mausoleum, Roar, True Light, Majesty, and for the Primite package, we're still playing the 3 Ether Barrel, 3 Lordy Load, and 1 Drill Beam. One thing that has come up recently is that some people decided to cut down Wishes to 2 and play a Neo Kaiser Seahorse instead, which is a decent enough starter. I think it can dump you the Maiden as soon as you turn it into the Link 1. And it can be an extender, right? Because as soon as you control a Blue Eyes, you can just special it out. My issue with that is that you play harder into Nib, and I think it's more important to have a good spell card in addition to your normal summon in hand, rather than just the additional normal summon. Because let's say you get stopped on your Link 1, you get Impermed or Veilered, and you can't access the field spell, and you can't access even the Blue Eyes, and now you're stuck with the Neo Kaiser Seahorse in hand that you wanted to use as an extender, right? So that's no bueno. But if we have Wishes instead in our hand, we can just turn this into a Maiden, discard Maiden, and place True Light and play from there, right? And also add a Roar, for example, to at least put out 1 Spirit Ring. I think that's way better. But yeah, that's just something to consider. I think everything else is really standard right now. 1 Drill Beam, in my opinion, is enough. I said this before, I didn't really miss it to have a second one, because I think playing more hand traps is more important than having a quote-unquote breaker that you can draw. Because initially when this deck came out, people sometimes even play 3 Drill Beam because it's good into breaking boards, right? But if you want to have a lot of hand traps, then it's better to just play more hand traps and less Drill Beams, right? Because this is still your best card, but you can just access it with your Ether Barrel and your Lordy Lord. They will resolve often enough. The only thing that I still want to point out is Maiden into the K9 Vanquish Soul deck or into any K9 engine. As soon as you know your opponent plays it, what you can do, for example, you start, let's say, with Ether Barrel, and you get into your Link 1, grab the Mausoleum, of course, before you'll end up adding Lordy Load and Drill Beam, right? But as soon as you're into your Link 1, you access the field spell, and let's say you have a Maiden in hand, right? Or you have Wishes in hand, and you can access Maiden that way. What you want to do against the K9 engine is not use her effect from hand to place the True Light, because that plays into Izuna, and that sucks, right? We don't want them to build a Nash Knight, for example, on our turn. That is really rough for our deck to deal with. What you can do instead is utilize the second normal summon of the field spell and just normal the Maiden, activate her effect on field, maybe even build a Spirit Dragon beforehand. If you, let's say, start with Sage, you can do that, and then you can negate the graveyard effect of the Lupus to come back, right? That's the best play into K9. Alright, let's get into the non-engine side. We're playing 20 hand traps, we're going all out. We're playing 3 Fuva, 3 Ash, triple Droll, 2 Nibiru, 2 Ghost Ogre, 1 Veiler, and then to round it off, triple Imperm and triple Purge. This hand trap lineup I really liked a lot. Droll, I think you could theoretically relegate to the side deck and then play Perulia instead, because Perulia is really good into Vanquish Soul, right? Or Vanquish Soul Canine rather. And it's still good against Mitsuraiziel. That deck still comes up. I've just looked at some regional tops before recording this video, and Mitsurugi is still there. It's not the top deck anymore because people want to play the new decks, so I think you should, if you own Perulias, put in Perulia instead and relegate Droll to the side deck. But it still came up for me, and even against Vanquish Souls, sometimes if they don't open the Canine engine with it, and they just have like one good starter, let's say the Raisin, they want to search a lot, or they open the Medlov, Droll is really good. That one really helps a lot, right? It's really nice. Other than that, everything came up. The Veiler, I talked about this before in my prior Blue Eyes deck profile, that I might want to bump this up. But I decided to stick with one. Often enough, that is enough. Of course, if you normal summon Sage twice, that can be nice. Or if you open the Veiler and you double normal summon Sage, or have to activate Wishes and you basically add a dead Maiden or a dead Sage, it's always nicer to add an additional Veiler, even if it's not very good in that matchup. It's better to do something than nothing, right? But everything else came up. Nibiru was really clutch in round 1, for example. Ogre, I think I never drew, but would have been really nice in my Vanquish Soul matchups against the field spell. But yeah, everything else I would keep the same, just exchange Droll for Perulias, which I don't own, so that's that. Right, let's talk about the extra deck, and I think for the most part it's relatively standard. We're playing 2 Spirit with Eyes of Blue, 2 Seals, and 2 Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. I think very standard. One thing to be aware of with the Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon is that it's very amazing to have on the board going first when you're playing against Yummy, because this one has an effect that most people don't even consider, and it is that your opponent cannot special summon out multiple monsters at once. They can only special summon one monster at once, right? That completely turns off Obedience School. That is really rough against these Synchro 2 effects to take out, because they normally want to special summon back 2 from the graveyard, and you're like, hell no, right? So that's very good. And of course, for the Spirit Dragon, we're playing the targets, which is the Ultimate Spirit Dragon, the Moonlight, the Lightstorm, and the Ancient Fairy Life Dragon. And then we're playing the Snake Eyes Vengeance Dragon. I said before that this didn't come up because it didn't get Nibiru, and I didn't Nibiru anybody. In 6 rounds, of course, that happens more. In round 1, that was really clutch. I nipped my opponent when they had to full commit, right? And then I just used the Vengeance Dragon to OTK. That was very cool. Then we're playing the Double Tyrant, 1 Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, and then the Typhon. And I think pretty much everything here came up. I was very happy about the selection. The only thing that I didn't summon was Typhon. This is usually here for the Ryzeal matchup, but I only played against the 60 card pile, including Ryzeal, in round 2, I think it was. You'll see it down in the comments below. And they never got into the Ryzeal engine, so it didn't really matter. I didn't need that one. But yeah, that is my selection. Still very happy. I think you could potentially cut the Typhon, put in a second Ultimate Spirit Ring. That card is very good. Or even the 3rd Spirit. That card, if it gets interrupted, sometimes you build like 2 to build the seals, right? And then it's really nice to have a 3rd one for either searching a field spell, or if you're in the grind game and you want to build the seals again off your normal summon, right? So that might be a consideration, but I think Typhon maybe can slowly be faded out of the extra deck. Alright, let's get into the side deck, and the first card we're playing here, and that's a 3-of, is the Artifact Lancia. Still very important against Malice in my opinion. Of course, that deck is less prevalent because people want to play the new decks, but it's very strong against them. Good against Lunalight, especially if they start with Foolish Bullet Goods. You want to chain Artifact Lancia right away. You don't want them to Miracle Fuse, right? So that's very important. And against Canine Crystal, it can be very good, especially if they don't open the Canine cards, right? If they just open Crystal cards, you activate Lancia, they're cooked. It's done, right? You win. And then you have Triple Bell, very good against Yummy. The Synchro 2 effects to tag out and special summon back 2 guys from the graveyard. You just chain Bell, they lose 2 bodies, they can't Synchro again, very good. If you play against Dracotail, they also have add back effects from the graveyard, so that's very good. And if you play into the K9 Vanquisher deck, or the K9 engine in general, as Vanquisher, you can hit the Rock of the Vanquisher. Against K9, you can hit the Lupus effect from graveyard to summon back, so that's very good. And the third monster as a 3-off is the Triple Fenrir. Very good into Yummy. You can summon out a big body, run over the Herald of the Arclight. People talked about that at length, so I don't think I need to explain more about that. You can also just keep it on board and start playing with your engine, and if they misplay, you get a chance to maybe banish their Mignon, the field spell, face down, so they just have small guys to play with, right? And then just big monsters win the game, so that's very good. But it's also very good going first, especially against Yummy, because at some point they will have to commit the field spell. Then at some point you'll get a chance to banish it face down, and the game is pretty much over. It's good against the K9 Vanquisher engine if they use Izuna effect in hand on your turn, and you already have the Fenrir on board. On the next chain you can just banish it face down, and all they can do is special summon Lupus, right? So not that threatening. All they can really build on your turn then with 1 body is a Typhon, and I don't think we care too much about that, to be honest. Then also good into Dracotail going first. If they use the Femina in hand to effect in hand to fuse, you can banish the body they summon face down, so that is very nice. And then for going first, we're playing 1 Talons, triple Solemn Judgment, and double Solemn Strike. I think the Solemn cards are very good in this meta, and I think Judgment especially is important for us. Because Blue Eyes really hates board breakers, and people are gonna start playing board breakers more and more. And for example, we go first, they activate Lightning Storm or Duster, we're completely cooked, so Judgment is very important for that. But also just stopping normal summons against decks that can't really extend much afterwards, right? That is very good. So I like Judgment a lot, I like Strike a lot. Talons is just still super sacky. I originally thought to play 3 Strike, inspired by Prophecy Wisp, but I then thought, nah, I like Talons too much, and 5 Psalms will be enough, right? Usually you just see 1 of them then going first. So that's a side deck, and yeah, let's round it off. Right, that's it for the deck profile. First of all, thank you all for watching, and on a little note, if you've never been to locals, or if you attend locals regularly but you've never been to a big event, be it an OTS, a regional, a YCS, or Nats, try to attend. Bring a buddy or 2 and you will have a good time. You will meet some new people that share the same hobby, and you'll play against different decks than you do at your local OTS or maybe at your kitchen table, right? It will be a lot of fun. And on the note of Blue Eyes, I said in my prior deck profile that I didn't know how it would do into the new format, especially against the new decks. And I've been surprised. The deck has been doing really well for me, and it's been a lot of fun. Of course, the event was nice. Going 5-1 in 6 rounds of Swiss was very good. Placing 3rd out of 43, I think, is an amazing result, even though I've missed out on the EUWCQ invite, which was reserved for the players in place number 1 and 2. But I have a regional coming up next month that will have the first 8 players being invited to the EUWCQ, so I'm very much looking forward to that. I think by the time I will not play Blue Eyes though, but rather Dracotail. I'm very excited for that deck. It can be played with Branded, and I'm a huge Branded enthusiast, and I like fusion archetype decks, right? So we'll see. I'll update you on that either in the community notes, or I'll upload a deck profile in a bit, right? So very excited for that, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and bye bye.